For nearly 7 decades, Emperor Franz Joseph ruled over the vast and diverse Austro-Hungarian Empire, a symbol of tradition, power, and tragedy. But what happened to his family after the fall of the empire? In today's video, we're tracing the lives of Franz Joseph's grandchildren and even great-grandchildren and beyond. From royal courts to modern Europe, uncovering how a once mighty dynasty adapted to a world without crowns. This is the story of the Habsburg legacy that lives on to this day. In 1914, the Austro-Hungarian Empire spanned over 600,000 square kilometers and ruled tens of millions across Central and Eastern Europe. It was an empire of many people, held together by dynastic ties and a fragile political structure. By the time Emperor Franz Joseph died in 1916, the empire was already creaking under the weight of nationalism and war. His successor, Charles, inherited not only the crown, but a collapsing system. World War I would be the last straw. The empire's multi-ethnic composition made unity increasingly impossible. As military setbacks mounted in 1918, various national groups saw their opportunity and began demanding independence. In October 1918, with negotiations failing and discontent spreading, Charles published a manifesto calling for national assemblies to govern their own affairs. But the offer of autonomy came too late. It was seen as the first step to cancel the monarchy. By November, Charles refused to formally abdicate. Instead, he issued a statement relinquishing participation in state affairs. That act effectively marked the end of the Habsburg rule. With the empire dissolved, the stage was set, not just for new nations, but for a dynasty whose descendants would from now on live in a drastically changed world. So now let us look at what came of Emperor Franz Joseph's descendants. Emperor Franz Joseph and Empress Elizabeth, known as Sissy, had 4 children. Their first daughter, Sophie, was born in 1855. She died of illness just 2 years later. Their second child, Gizela, was born in 1856. In 1873, she married her second cousin, Prince Leopold of Bavaria. The couple lived in Munich and had 4 children. Their eldest daughter, Elizabeth Marie, was born in 1874. In 1893, she secretly married Count Otto von Seefried-Buttenheim. He was of a lower rank and a Protestant, which caused a lasting conflict with her father. Despite this, Elizabeth and Otto stayed married for nearly 60 years and had 5 children. One of their daughters, Countess Augusta, was born in 1899. She married Prince Adalbert of Bavaria, who was 13 years older. They had 2 sons. Their eldest, Prince Constantine, died in a plane crash in 1969. His son, Leopold, who is still alive today, became a race car driver. Elizabeth and Otto's only son, Count Franz Joseph, was born in 1904. He married Gabriele von Schnitzler in 1941. They had 4 children. Franz Joseph later served as Austria's trade commissioner in Spain, where he died in a car accident in 1969. This painting shows Emperor Franz Joseph with the family of his granddaughter Elizabeth Marie. Gizela's second child, Augusta, was born in 1875. At the age of 18, she married Archduke Joseph August of Austria. The couple had 6 children. Their son, Joseph Francis, was born in 1895. Because of his father's close ties to Hungary, Joseph Francis was at one point considered a potential candidate for the Hungarian throne. He married Princess Anna of Saxony, and together they had 8 children. One of their sons, Geza, is still alive and now 84 years old. He became a leading expert on Fabergé, the Russian imperial jeweler. Over the years, he has written several books and organized numerous exhibitions on Fabergé's work. Now let's go back 2 generations to the children of Gizela. Gizela's son Georg was born in 1880. He pursued a military career and rose to the rank of major. Outside the army, he was also known as a skilled boxer and even became a champion in the sport. In 1912, Georg married Archduchess Isabella of Austria. However, the marriage ended almost immediately. The couple separated before the end of their honeymoon, and their union was annulled the following year. Georg never remarried and had no children. During the First World War, he served on both the Eastern and Western fronts and was awarded the Iron Cross for his service. After the war, Georg turned to religious studies. He studied theology in Innsbruck, earned a doctorate in canon law, and later moved to Rome to continue his work. There he was appointed a domestic prelate by the Pope. Georg spent the rest of his life in Rome, where he died in 1943. The youngest of Gizela's children was Prince Conrad. Like his brother Georg, he served in the military and fought during the First World War. He was promoted to the rank of major in 1914 and resigned from service after the war ended. In 1921, Conrad married Princess Bona of Savoy-Genoa, linking the Bavarian royal family to the House of Savoy. The couple had 2 children, Princess Amalie Isabella and Prince Eugen. At the end of the Second World War, Conrad was arrested by French forces. After his release, he entered civilian life and joined the board of NSU, a German automobile manufacturer. He died in 1969. Next, we look at the descendants of Emperor Franz Joseph's only son, Crown Prince Rudolf. Rudolf was married to Princess Stephanie of Belgium, and together they had 1 child. In 1889, Rudolf took his own life in a suicide pact at Mayerling, an event that shocked the empire and left his family devastated. His only daughter, Archduchess Elizabeth Marie, was born in 1883. She was just 5 years old when her father died. The tragedy marked her deeply. Her relationship with her mother, Princess Stephanie, became strained. Many blamed Stephanie for Rudolf's death, and when she later remarried morganatically, Elizabeth broke off all contact with her. Stephanie in turn removed her daughter from her will. Around the turn of the century, Elizabeth was seen as a suitable match for several European princes. In the end, she chose to marry Prince Otto von Windisch-Gratz, a man of lower rank. Emperor Franz Joseph reluctantly gave his consent, and the marriage took place in 1902. Elizabeth and Otto had 4 children, but their relationship quickly deteriorated. They separated in 1918, and the separation was finalized in 1924. Elizabeth was granted custody of the children, though her relationship with them weakened over time. After the separation, she met Leopold Petzneck, a social democratic politician. The two began a relationship, and Elizabeth herself joined the Social Democratic Party, earning herself the nickname the Red Archduchess. After the Second World War, Elizabeth and Leopold were finally able to marry, which they did in 1948. In her later years, she suffered from poor health and used a wheelchair. She died in 1963. Elizabeth's daughter, Princess Stephanie, became known for her photography, often using only candlelight in her work. One of her sons, however, died in a concentration camp in 1944. The youngest child of Emperor Franz Joseph and Empress Elizabeth was Archduchess Marie Valerie. In 1890, she married her third cousin, Archduke Franz Salvator of Austria, and together they had 10 children. Their first child, Archduchess Elizabeth Franziska, known as Ella, was born in 1892. At the age of 20, she married Count Georg von Waldburg-Zeil and Hohenems in a love match, unusual for the time. The couple had 4 children. Elizabeth Franziska was also an accomplished painter. She died of pneumonia in 1930 at the age of 38. The couple's next child, Archduke Franz Karl Salvator, was born in 1893. He pursued a military career and served as a lieutenant during the First World War. Towards the end of the war, he contracted the Spanish flu and died in December 1918, aged just 25. Their third child, Archduke Hubert Salvator, was born in 1894. Like his brother, he served in the army during the war and later took charge of Austria's mission to the Ottoman Empire. After the monarchy fell, Hubert remained in Austria after signing a declaration of renunciation. He earned a doctorate in 1920 and in 1936 married Princess Rosemary of Salm-Salm. The couple had 13 children. Among them, Princess Valerie, who married Maximilian the Margrave of Baden, a nephew of Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Another daughter, Princess Agnes, married Prince Karl Alfred of Liechtenstein, brother of Prince Franz Joseph II of Liechtenstein. Archduke Hubert Salvator died in 1971. His younger sister, Archduchess Hedwig, was born in 1896. In 1918, she married Bernhard of Stolberg-Stolberg. They had 9 children and she lived until 1970. The next child, Archduke Theodor Salvator, was born in 1899. He married Countess Maria Theresa of Waldburg-Zeil-Trauchburg. Theodor died in 1978. Their sister, Archduchess Gertrude, born in 1900, married Count Georg von Waldburg-Zeil and Hohenems, the widower of her elder sister Elizabeth Franziska. They had 2 children and lived at Castle Siergenstein. Gertrude died in 1962. The next daughter, Archduchess Elizabeth Marie, was born in 1901. She never married and died young at the age of 35 in 1936. Archduke Clemens Salvator was born in 1904. In 1930, he married Countess Elizabeth Fresquier de Miremont. Because the marriage was morganatic, Clemens renounced his Habsburg title and adopted the surname Altenburg. He died in 1974. One of his sons, Franz Joseph Altenburg, became a well-known ceramic artist, and one of his grandsons, Leopold Altenburg, is an Austrian actor. The next child, Archduchess Mathilde, was born in 1906. She married the Austrian politician Ernst Haefel in 1947. They had no children and she died in 1991. The youngest of 10, Archduchess Agnes, was born in 1911 but died only a few hours after her birth. From crowns to actors, race car drivers and artists, this wraps up the descendants of Emperor Franz Joseph. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Your support is much appreciated.